No. No. Definitely not. No. That.
This one?
That right there. Yeah, make that, alright?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Okay, I promise I will. Anything for you. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there once again. Welcome again to Cooking with Sanji, with your host, yours truly. Today's focus will be on yet another delicious Japanese dish, fried pork cutlet, or tonkatsu. For today's meal, we'll be using the following ingredients and tools. A package of boneless, skinless pork chops, panko breadcrumbs, some all-purpose flour, vegetable oil for frying, of course, 1 egg, a little bit of whole milk, some salt, half of 1 head of cabbage, and of course, if you like, some fresh steamed rice as well. In terms of equipment, since we're going to be deep frying food today, a deep fryer would be the perfect tool to have. However, if you don't have access to one, you can get by using a sturdy, semi-deep pan or a pot, and some sort of perforated spoon to help retrieve the deep fried deliciousness. As well, a few shallow bowls, some plastic wrap, a meat tenderizer, and a large sheet pan lined with paper towels will also be very important.
Now, before anything else, we need to start warming up the oil. Add enough oil so that your tonkatsu will be mostly submerged in it during frying. Then turn the heat to medium-low for the time being. Be sure to check on it periodically too to make sure that it doesn't start smoking. Now, let's start with the meat. Tear off 6 pieces of plastic wrap, 3 for the top of the meat and 3 for the bottom as standard for tenderizing this way. And set them on top of a sturdy cutting board. Place one of the chops between the layers and begin to pound away. The goal here is not only to break down and tenderize the meat, but also decrease its thickness so that each tonkatsu cooks quickly and evenly. Remember that the thicker something is, the longer it will take to cook fully. You can also cut your chops in half if they're super thick so that the end product isn't nearly as huge as if you wish. Repeat this step for each remaining pork chop and set them aside for the time being.
Sanji!
We'll set up a standard breading station. Using 3 shallow bowls, place some flour in the first one. Then, crack the egg into the second and add some of the milk. Using a fork, whisk this mixture together to create an egg wash.
Sanji!
And in the final bowl, place a good portion of panko breadcrumbs into it. Since this process can be messy, donning a pair of gloves would be a smart choice here. If you don't have any, use one of your hands for dry dipping and the other for the egg wash. Take one of your pounded out pork chops and liberally coat it in the flour so that little to no pink shows through the coating. Next, dip it into the egg wash until it again is fully coated. Finally, into the panko crumbs, making sure to cover it as much as possible.
I'm really hungry. This is taking forever.
Then place the finished tonkatsu onto a plate and repeat the process as needed. After they've all been breaded up, now we can start frying. Be sure to check your temperature of the oil at this point. If it's too hot, the breading will start to burn before the meat is even cooked. If it's not hot enough, then the tonkatsu will end up being greasy and soggy. Look for about 360 degrees or so. However, if you don't have an appropriate thermometer handy, you can use this simple trick. Take some of the egg-drenched breading from the station and drop it in. If it starts frying up nicely, then the oil is ready. If not, crank the heat up just a little bit more and test it again until it is ready. Our oil here looks like it's just about right, so let's start frying. First, take one of your tonkatsu and carefully and gently place it into the hot oil. Since the meat has been pounded thin, the cooking time will only be about 20 seconds or so total, just until the breading turns nice and golden. During this time though, we can also prep the cabbage quickly. Simply cut the head in half, and cut off enough to create a bedding for the tonkatsu. Why are we placing it on top of cabbage instead of the rice, you ask? We'll get to that in a moment, but for now, let's check on our cutlet. Fish out your cutlet using the appropriate perforated utensil and place it onto the paper towel-lined pan.
Aren't you done already?
Sprinkle a bit of salt over it while it's still nice and hot. And now we can get to plating. About the cabbage bedding I mentioned earlier. If we were to place our nice crispy tonkatsu onto a plate of hot steamed rice, what do you think would happen? The steam from the rice would make the bottom of the tonkatsu soggy and ruin the overall presentation of it. The cabbage, however, will prevent this. Instead, spoon up some of your rice into a separate bowl and serve it alongside the dish. And we're done. Crispy fried tonkatsu served with steamed rice.
Finally!
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, where we'll keep you up to date on all things Senshikon related. As well, stay tuned for more of my episodes involving Japanese food. Until next time, itadakimasu, bon appetit, and happy cooking.